Let's talk about WandaVision and writing. This video is full of spoilers. It's short and I just want to give you my quick thoughts on what I think is wrong with WandaVision. If you haven't watched the show yet and you don't want spoilers, click away. If you're not an MCU fan and you haven't watched the show, stick around. I was so confused really when I first saw the trailer for this. I do have a video up of my first reactions to the trailers. I'll link that in the description. And I remember just being like where is this gonna go? How can this end? I was gonna make this video last week, but I'm really happy that I waited to watch episode 5 first because I think it reinforces the idea that I had about this show. One huge piece of writing advice that I say every opportunity that I get because I really feel like people would benefit from it so much because I have personally benefited from it so much. Both of my books, Magic Required and Dominion Required, I did this. The book I'm working on now, my Untitled Dyson project, I did this. Immediately after doing this, it elevated the level of my story. And that piece of writing advice is cut your first 3 chapters. WandaVision is a perfect example of where you should have cut your first 3 chapters. Somebody commented recently and asked me if I had watched The Expanse yet. And I only watched the first episode and I really didn't like it. But I also have a rule, give every show 3 episodes. And in the first 3 episodes of WandaVision, we didn't get anything. We didn't get enough for somebody new to love it. We didn't get enough for this show to be something that could stand on its own 2 feet, which it does not. The first 3 episodes are for people who've watched the MCU movies, people who have followed closely the MCU. And if you haven't, you're not going to be invested enough in Wanda or Vision to last through those episodes. The show only really started to get good in episode 4. Sure, throughout episode 4, we got to see where the Easter eggs kind of pieced together, and that was kind of cool, but I don't think personally it was cool enough to make up for the boredom of the first 3 episodes. It got to the point where I was going to abandon the show if they didn't change something up, but if we started at the beginning of episode 4 basically as it was, somebody who had never watched a Marvel movie could have gotten invested because we are meeting Monica Rambeau for the first time as well. I mean, she was a kid before. We're meeting this iteration of her for the first time. And that's something that someone can connect to. She's experiencing all this stuff for the first time. She doesn't have any serious previous connection to these characters. They're all new to her as they would be to a new viewer. Episode 4 was so good. I was really invested. I was bored senseless, and then I was really into it. And episode 5, when we started in the sitcom again, I was kind of upset. But if I had never seen those first 3 sitcoms, I would have been dying to get into the sitcom. Now let's take a walk and pretend that Disney did cut their first 3 episodes and how the show would have worked and my argument to why this would have made it considerably better. First off, as the show is now, it's only good to people who have watched the MCU movies and who are incredibly invested, which means right now it's not getting any new fans. If it started at episode 4, Monica is new to us, or at least adult Monica is new to us. We get a brief explanation of the snap and everybody coming back and what that's like. So a new viewer would be able to engage with her, would be able to feel for her. She doesn't know where her mom is. I feel like that opening sequence with Monica could have been enough to maybe hook a viewer who really likes Paul Bettany and hasn't watched a ton of MCU stuff. Or somebody who, I don't know, had only watched a few. But I think that would have made the show be able to stand on its own 2 feet as opposed to rely on the MCU to be any good at all, which I still maintain the first 3 episodes were not. Next, what information to advance the story did we get from the first 3 episodes? We got Monica delivering the twins and a view of the world. Actually, I think that's kind of it. Did we need 3 episodes for that? Probably not. If we took those 3 episodes, shrank them down to an episode and a half, and interspersed it with episode 5, if we were seeing the connecting dots of what Wanda was seeing on the inside, the toy, the radio broadcast, if we were seeing the other side of that, I think this would have been a much better show. If a big piece of this show is watching these sitcoms and wanting your audience to want to be in the sitcoms, they shouldn't have bored me out of my mind in the first 3 episodes with them. The other thing that we learned from the first 3 episodes was at the end of episode 3, Monica comes out and says,
"It's Wanda. It's all Wanda."
But we knew that already. We knew it was Wanda because we know her power because we're dedicated fans to the MCU. We don't need to be told that right now. I was really, really drawn in by episode 4 and 5. And I think that other people maybe who weren't massive MCU fans could have been as well, but they weren't really given that chance because the first 3 episodes were boring. Also, as an aside, what happened to the beekeeper guy? I was really waiting for us to get a little visual of him in episode 5 and him being like, I'm okay guys. Wanda rewound me right back to the beginning of our wherever. Can I have my jump rope? So if you have never watched any MCU stuff and for some reason you're just here to hear me talk, I appreciate you very much. And also, try watching this show from episode 4 and see how it goes. Anyways, that's my little rant. Let me know what you think in the comment section. What do you like or dislike about WandaVision and maybe where you think it's going? I didn't even say, how much did you love that they brought in Evan Peters? Oh, I can't believe she recast Pietro. Episode 4 and 5 just showed me how amazing this show could have been from the beginning. And I will never watch the first 3 episodes, but I might watch the last 2. Anyways, let's see what happens. I'm excited for Friday. I'm excited for the rest of this show. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I look forward to talking to you guys about your theories. And until next time, may the force be with you. Live long and prosper. I'll be back.
Blood covered the floor around her, but she was clean. A man reached for her. He collapsed. A second man cringed away, her eyes fixed on him. And look at that, she thought. He's made of stone. Flesh tore, rock crumbled. The stone man screamed.